Still time.
Hi, this is the November 14th, 2024 meeting of the Needham Conservation Commission. I'm Dave Harrer, Conservation Commission Chair. As a reminder, this meeting is being broadcast to the town's YouTube channel and via Zoom and it's being recorded for publication, later viewing, and administrative purposes. First, I'd like to confirm the presence of the members and staff. I call your name, just respond. Sue,
Here.
Larry,
Here.
Reed,
Here.
Bill,
Here.
Fred, I know is out, Paulina,
Here.
and Clay and Deb, I see are here. So the supporting materials for this meeting have been posted on the town website. A few ground rules for our meeting. I will open and introduce each hearing on the agenda and then introduce the applicant and/or their consultant to begin their presentation. After conclusion of the applicant's presentation, I'll call on the staff and each commission member to provide their comments or questions. Excuse me, please wait until your name is called. After comments or questions from the staff and commission, I will solicit comments from the public. Please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Please mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. And finally, each vote taken during this meeting will be conducted via roll call vote. Okay, so the first item on the agenda, we have minutes from our last meeting, October 24th, 2024. Any comments?
And put in comments.
Okay, great. So no more comments. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, let's vote. Bill,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paulina,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, are there any enforcement or violation updates? No? Good. I know that we have one request for minor modification that we wanted to hold at the top of the agenda. 131 Oxbow Road, DEP file 234-917. Is there anybody here to speak to that?
Yeah,
Oops.
you're muted, Ben, if you'd like to speak.
Oh,
Thank
Ben
you.
Hayworth, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Ben Hayworth. This is Ben Churko, who's the builder on site.
I'm
Okay,
here,
Ben.
Ben Churko. Thank you.
Yeah, do you want to describe your request?
I can summarize, Ben. Would you prefer to?
You can, Ben, but I'm here for support. Sure.
Yeah, just we discovered with the grading, working within the limit of work and the erosion control limit, that there was just going to be a very steep descent, basically hill down from the back of our property by a patio to the lawn, and realized it was just going to be a safety issue for kids and older folks. And so the proposal, from some of the building staff was to put in retaining walls and stairs, which we weren't thrilled about, being close to the buffer zone, and additional man-made items on the lawn. So are simply proposing to try to extend the limit of work and the erosion control a little bit further away, so that we could simply grade it on a more gradual slope to take away the safety issue, but not add, but have it be natural and just seeded with grass on a more slower slope. So capture it, Ben? Do you feel? Ben Chirko?
Yes, yes. So the additional area that we're looking for is about 1,300 square feet. And
Do you have your plan to share?
Ben, can you share?
Sure. Sure, absolutely. And do I have sharing capacity, Deb? With the
Yes.
settings? Okay.
Yep.
Pulling it up, and then I will share here. Okay. Good. Expand. Close this, and then, so,
If you see on the lower left hand, there's there's a big circle down there, which is a stockpile area. Just to the right of it, there's that irregular triangle shape with a tail off to the bottom right. That triangle with the tail is what we're trying to capture. I think initially what the engineer did was he needed an area for stockpile, and he drew that big circle, and he'd already drawn his erosion control line and graded, and that's what created that weird, part of a triangle shape. But as we've been working out there, the grades are a little steep, and we just felt this would be a smoother transition from the backyard down to the area below, and it makes the slope a lot less steep than it was before.
You're just proposing regrading, right?
That's it.
There's
Moving
no,
the silt fence, probably about 30-40 feet, and regrading.
okay. Deb, do you have any comment?
No, I mean, the majority of that area is outside our jurisdiction anyways. But I don't see any issues with the proposal.
Okay. Let me just ask in general to the commissioners, does anybody have any comments or questions? No? Okay. How about anybody in the audience? Is everybody with their hand raised in the audience?
There are no hands raised.
Okay. So this is something we vote on, right?
Yep, to approve the minor modification.
Okay. So can I have a motion to approve the minor modification for 131 Oxbow Road, DEP file 234-917?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, let's vote. Sue,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Paulina,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, great. The next item on the agenda is 898 South Street, DEP file 234-934. I believe that the applicant wants to continue this hearing. Deb, do we have a date?
Yes. We don't really have a date. They had originally proposed in May. Because we're waiting for them to get their water quality certification in. But at this point, I did let them know they needed to revise their plans and their narrative, because they are going to be changing the access that they had proposed for the project. So I would continue it to the next meeting, and I'll see if I can get a date certain from them.
Okay. So can I have a motion to continue the hearing for 898 South Street, DEP file 234-934 to December 5th, 2024?
Motion to continue.
A second.
Second.
Okay. Let's vote. Bill,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Paulina,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, next project is 484 Charles River Street, and Deb, you said they have a DEP file number now?
Yeah, they did just get the file number either yesterday or today.
Do you know what it is? No.
Oh, I'm sorry. That would have been good, huh? If I actually had that information. I will
That's
let you
okay.
know momentarily.
Well, no, that's okay.
right.
There's a notice of intent for a ecological restoration project limited. And let's see, we have Scott from VHB to discuss this.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening. Just for the record, the file number is
Oh, thank you.
234-0939, I believe.
Okay.
I do have a very brief PowerPoint presentation that I think I could share, and it may be helpful for the commission if I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is an ecological restoration notice of intent at Castle Farm, which is 484 Charles River Street in Needham. If you recall, we had recently filed a abbreviated notice of resource area delineation on this property with the intent to review and approve the wetland boundary. And as part of that discussion, when I was on site with Deb Anderson reviewing the wetland boundaries, she was commenting how, it was beautiful, nice meadow, and it's kind of the goal and interest of preserving that. So subsequent to that, we filed this ecological restoration notice of intent simply because there's really been no permit in place. They've just been kind of maintaining and mowing this. So we think it's kind of a good idea to file this application, provide some details, and continue with the maintenance and make some improvements to this meadow. So just to get you oriented, this is 484 Charles River Street here. Charles River Street runs up here, Whitman Road, and then Oxbow Road down here. And what you see at the bottom of the screen is the Charles River. The area in question is this meadow here. It's kind of mowed up through here. And this is the portion that's currently mowed. This portion over here is currently, I think that I'll go through in more detail in the future slides, but this area really has kind of filled in with invasive species, primarily Morrow's honeysuckle. So kind of the history of this area, the meadow was utilized as an agricultural field from the 1800s to the late 1970s. It was left fallow and transitioned into a meadow. It was mowed by the prior owner, Mr. Henry Foster, until sometime around 2012. After that, Dr. Kittle, the budding property owner, continued to mow the paths and hired Mark Ammons to mow each fall. And we're looking for an order of conditions for continued maintenance of this area. So the project objectives, it'll provide a formal mechanism consisting of an order of conditions for the mowing and maintenance of the area. We're proposing to remove invasive plants within the western 2.75 acres and overseed with native plants. Restore the meadow from 13.37 acres to 16.22 acres, so an increase of about 2.75 acres. And then provide a mowing schedule that avoids the bird nesting season and active period for pollinators. So the proposal is to mow between September through early December. And then maintain important and declining meadow habitat, especially in kind of eastern Massachusetts. It's very rare to have a meadow that's of this size. And lastly, to control invasive species via mowing or herbicide treatments. So again, this is the area in question, the area that's currently mowed. There's kind of a finger up through here, and then it widens out, and then it's mowed through here. You can see there's some footpaths that are mowed kind of in, kind of manicured, kind of a lawn setting, but the remainder of it is mowed once a year. and the wildflowers and other vegetations comes up every year. The area in the western portion of the 2.75 acres over through here, that's the area that's filled in with honeysuckle. So that area will be mowed with a forestry mower and then seeded and restored that area into meadow. This is the plan that was presented. So you'll, as you see in kind of this purple color, that this is the existing meadow. We've got the wetland boundaries that were approved. So we've got the bordering vegetative wetland boundary through here. The Charles River is down here. There's also an additional perennial stream off site. I think that's on town-owned property. So this is the area to be maintained. The area in green, the western portion of the site, will have the invasives removed and that area mowed and reseeded. That's pretty much an overview of it. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Okay, thank you. Deb, do you have any comments?
Do you know, so what is the existing mowing schedule? Is it a fall?
Based upon my understanding, they've been doing it each fall. So
Okay.
I think we'll be relatively consistent, but we just kind of want to document that that's the prime period that we want to do that mowing. So that will generally be consistent.
Okay, and I forget, was there a height that you were planning to mow to? And, you know, just as far as overwintering for pollinators and insects.
So based upon kind of review of research, 6 to 8 inches is kind of like the prime mowing height. I think currently it's much shorter. It's probably 2 or 3 inches. So it'll be raised a little bit. It'll provide some kind of additional habitat, and some kind of overwintering areas for small mammals and pollinators and other insects.
Okay, and as far as the invasive control, is it gonna start out as mechanical and then only use herbicides if necessary? And I'm assuming the commission, if you got to the point, would probably want you to just come in for a discussion if you're gonna move to herbicides.
Intent is primarily, to mow it, get rid of the woody vegetation, the woody honeysuckle, kind of keep mowing that yearly, which will cut down on that. So mowing's kind of the primary removal of invasives at this point. If it comes a time where there's something that needs to be treated, obviously a licensed pesticide applicator will be utilized, somebody familiar with working in sensitive areas like this, and will absolutely notify the Conservation Commission prior to that work occurring.
And would there be some kind of markers or something put out there prior to mowing that area so that they know the limit as far as mowing the honeysuckle?
Yeah, we can certainly do that. It's pretty much the existing tree line, so they're planning on kind of mowing the honeysuckle where there used to be an existing field, and mowing up to the tree line so that they wouldn't go into forested areas. But we can certainly have the surveyors hang some flags to make sure that when they're doing the mowing that they stay within the approved limits of work.
Okay, I think that's all I have. Thanks.
All right, let me go to the commissioners here. Bill, do you have any comments, question?
Are there any trees that are gonna be removed in that additional 2 acres?
No, there's several clusters of trees kind of scattered throughout. Those are all proposed to remain. It's just the understory brush, honeysuckle that's proposed to be removed. So the trees that are in there will remain.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Sue?
Yeah, actually, the 2 questions I was gonna ask, Debbie asked, but I just have another question. How much within the 25-foot is the mowing gonna be involved with?
I don't have a specific number for that 25-foot. I do have some numbers for like there's an existing BVW portion of the bordering vegetative wetland that's mowed is 168,409. The proposed additional would be 20,621. And then Riverfront existing mowed today is 274,887. And additional proposed is 46,357. And then BLSF is 24,562. That's existing impact, and there's no additional BLSF mowing proposed outside the existing meadow.
So we are talking about within the 25 foot, basically, with the mowing.
Yes, that's correct. And in the application, I went through and provided detail to meet all the standards that are required for work within that 25-foot buffer under the local bylaw as well.
Okay, and I guess I have a question. I wonder if there should be markers at the 25 foot, but I'm just bringing that up as a question. And I with the herbicides, you would be coming before the commission before application of any herbicides.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, I'm done.
All right, thanks. Larry?
No comment. Thank you for the presentation. Very well thought out.
Thank you.
Paulina?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, Reed?
Yeah, Scott, do you mind just bringing that plan back up?
Sure. This one?
Yeah. So I guess I'm just sort of curious, right, about there's that sliver on the eastern edge of the meadow that's outside of the
Here?
Yeah, exactly. That's owned by the town and is part of Ridge Hill. And I guess I'm just trying to figure out how that's going to be dealt with, right? Because I think if it's not continued to be mowed, it's just going to get filled in with bittersweets. And other invasives would be my expectation. I mean, I guess are you proposing that would be that part of the meadow would be mowed as well?
It's been historically mowed by Mr. Kettle, doing that area. It was on town-owned land, so I didn't include that in this notice of intent application. I'm sure that, it's really kind of a narrow sliver, and I'm sure that they could simply include that if it was the town's wish to maintain that, because like you say, I think if it's not maintained and mowed as part of this, it will fill in with invasives.
Yeah, and I mean, I think anything we can do to make this, because this meadow larger, I think and maintain it as a large meadow is going to be good for the wildlife, right? So, I guess we're have to figure out if that's something that can be done. I'm not sure exactly the procedure for that though. But it's certainly, I mean, yeah, certainly my desire that would be continue to be mowed.
I'm assuming that, if we're gonna have them do that on town-owned property, we would probably need to have the town sign off as an owner on the notice of intent. So I guess if you could have a conversation with the owner and see if they would be willing to add that area in. Then we can figure out, I can talk to town council and see how to go about doing that legally.
Okay.
Anything else, Reed?
No, that was my biggest concern.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any comments other than what's been stated. It seems like a good plan, and I think everybody agrees that the meadow should be maintained. Clay, do we have any public participants that have their hands raised?
Yes, we do have one person. I'll move them over now.
Okay, thanks.
Well, they're coming over. I had one question. So are you going to be doing plantings in the where you're removing the honeysuckle or seeding? What's happening in there?
Seeding. There's proposed seeding, the native wildflower mix,
Okay.
and there's details in the application for that.
Okay. Is it New England wetlands?
Yes,
Wetland plants, they're one of their seed mixes.
that's correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We have Lynn Kaplan here.
Hi, yes, Lynn Kaplan. I live on Oxbow Road, and I was just wondering, what is the intent of this meadow, of this land? Is just to keep it as a meadow?
Correct. That's what they have before us.
And the land that's owned by the town is just the land between Oxbow and this private land,
Yeah, that's correct.
right? Okay, thank you.
Anybody else, Clay?
Looks like there are no other hands raised.
Okay, so at this point, it seems like we don't have the an order of conditions drafted, so we will continue this hearing to our next meeting, at which time we can close the hearing and then, you know, review the order of conditions.
Right, and if you could talk to the applicants and then we need to figure out as far as if we need additional signatures and such.
I'll follow up with next week with that.
Okay.
What's the next public meeting? We'll continue it to?
It's December 5th.
Okay. So I'd formally request that we continue this public meeting to December 5th.
All right, great. So can I have a motion to continue the hearing for 484 Charles Street?
Move to continue.
Second.
Okay, let's vote. Bill,
Aye.
Paulina,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Clary,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.
Thank you very
Right.
much.
Yeah, nice
Thanks.
presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next hearing on the agenda is 19 Mason Road, DEP file 234-938. Who do we have here to discuss it? Justin? No, not Justin.
No, it should be Joseph DeCipio.
Yeah, Joseph.
And I believe their consultant may be in the attendee and moving them over as well.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, sorry about that. I was just allowed in. So Diane from Field Resources, I'm here as representative for the property at 19 Mason. And I'm here for Joe DeCipio. He is the builder for the project. And currently the owner is the project, the property is under conservatorship through the courts currently. So that was signed off by the agency that is currently the conservator for the project. But with that said, we can move on. If I could share the screen with you all so I can show you some of the information for the project. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so can you see the pictures we have here of Locust property?
Right.
So let me just open this up completely so it's a better picture for you all. So currently the project sits, as you see it here, it's a pretty clear-cut lot. Mason Road being behind us here, the wetlands being in the rear of the property. The property has a sewer drain easement on the property, which actually outfalls here. This is the picture of the outfall, which is in the back portion of the property. There's a portion of the lawn here that actually has hydraulic soils, which is the wetland line that Karen Skinner-Catroni had delineated for the property. Technically, that was on Great Plain Ave earlier this year. So we're currently using the same line. So this, again, is a picture from the rear of the property. If we could get down to the, let me just get down to the actual plan that we have for you here. I just wanted to show you the drainage and how it currently flows on the property. So this is the existing site, again, with the wetland flags that were delineated by Karen's and the existing house. Let me just scroll over to our proposed conditions. Our proposed condition is our proposed, we're going to revegetate the wetland area that's currently flagged as, again, the historic hydraulic soil. There is an outflow here from the drainage that, again, has created this wetland. That area that we would be revegetating is approximately 786 square feet, which is approximately the same additional impervious that we're adding to the site of the increased footprint on the lot. The house also would have infiltration per the town drainage bylaw. We'll have currently we have two infiltration basins or systems that we have, one in the front, one in the rear of the property, that will recharge all runoff from the proposed house. As you can see, a bulk of the property is within the jurisdiction. There's approximately 10,000 square feet within your jurisdiction, all of which is the house falls within completely within your jurisdiction. Let me just scroll down a little bit more so we can see the approach. We have, we'll be proposing the driveway in the same area that the existing driveway comes in. And again, we have the infiltration system for the downspouts. Additionally, the plantings that we have a variety of plantings here that we'll be proposing within the wetland area. They're all native plantings. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. We have a variety of plantings for that area to revegetate that will increase the habitat for species within the area. Currently, behind the property is naturally vegetated, so this will increase that natural vegetation and will add to that resource area. We have also applied for the waiver to work within the resource area and the 25. We ask that we grant that for the plantings. The remainder of the yard will remain as lawn. And we also ask that the waiver fee be waived in that we are improving the resource area or the wetland area within the locust property. And that's pretty much synopsis for this project. If anybody has any questions, I can stop sharing.
Okay, thanks.
Did anybody have any questions?
Deb, do you have any thoughts?
So the project's pretty cut and dry. I did go by today to take a look. And so there's already erosion controls in
Mm-hmm.
and they're backwards. So the silt fence is on the wrong side, so that's gonna need to be fixed.
Okay.
Clay has some pictures that I sent him. So the area that you're gonna be restoring, that's wetland right now. Yeah, if you can go to the next one, Clay, thank you. Yeah, so that's the,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I talked to him today, he said he had just put that in, so I
yeah,
had kind of a chance to see that.
yeah, so anyways, so that'll need to be redone.
Yeah.
So right now, the erosion controls go through the wetland
Correct.
that you're gonna be restoring. So the flags weren't refreshed. So the flag that I think it's number 8, that is the furthest flag from the
Mhm.
isn't there.
Okay.
So, and that's supposed to be the limit of where you're gonna be restoring.
Yeah, we'll
So,
definitely. Mhm.
yeah, I'm just wondering if we should put you know, like silt fence or something around where you're gonna be restoring, just so that that is the limit of work, kind of, if you know what I mean?
Right, there was some discussion on that, and we primarily put erosion control, we proposed the erosion control where you see it
Mm-hmm.
on the ground as well as on the plan, primarily because the fact that we are going to do work within the 25. I mean,
Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't know if we should delineate the expanse of the area that we're gonna be doing the mitigation plantings.
Oh, absolutely. We
You know what I
would,
mean?
yeah, we would stake that out for them. We can do it during we could do it as a
Okay.
pre-staking. So you,
Yeah, I just want to make it clear that that's like the limit of work except for the plantings kind of thing, if that
Sure.
makes sense.
we can have that done for your site walk.
Okay, that would be good.
Okay.
That's all that I had.
All right, thanks, Deb. Let me ask the commissioners. Sue, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty clear cut, but just wondering if any trees are gonna be removed.
No, the lot is completely clear of trees.
Great.
Well, not really.
Yeah. Depends how you
Oh,
look
But-
at it.
You can always plant some.
Yeah.
Bill, do you have any comment?
No, looks good.
Clary?
Yes, actually, do you have, did I miss this, but do you have a planting landscape plan to go alongside the construction?
We did not put together a plan per se, but we do have the number of plants that we have picked out. That is in the write-up. It talks about how many.
Okay, and are there any trees planned within close proximity of the 25-foot buffer?
We did not propose any trees per se, but if it's something the commission wishes to see, we could swap out a couple of the plants for a tree or two in replacement, only because there's only so much room.
Yeah, there was already trees in that area that you're gonna be planting the mitigation, so in that
Okay.
area, I'd probably stick with shrubs. I think
Okay.
that you were proposing winterberry and maybe witch hazel.
Yeah, I can bring that back up.
Yeah,
Yeah, the abutting property is naturally vegetated and it does have overstory.
okay, that's good.
Okay,
No more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Polina? Anything?
Yes, I have a question. I might have missed it. What were you planning to do with the erosion controls that span through the wetland right now? Or were you going to keep them in place, or were you discussing to shift them out of the wetland?
We're gonna leave them where they are currently, but we're gonna fix the setup, the way they're set up. And that's primarily because currently the wetlands are used as existing lawn.
Mhm.
So it's already disturbed. But we are going to stake the wetland area so the contractor knows where his plantings are to go.
And I'm assuming you're going to be planting at the end of your construction phase, right?
I
Is
would
that-
think, I haven't talked to him about when, but obviously not between now and the beginning of planting season.
I'm just thinking, just seeing those erosion controls, you're putting in a silt fence and that has to be dug in to the ground, and you're going to be disturbing wetland when you're installing those controls. So I would recommend that those controls are moved outside of the wetland for the time being when you are working on construction. And then when you're starting to do your plantings and you're going to be disturbing the soils there, you put in like a mulch sock or something that doesn't require you to dig through the wetland.
So there, you saw the straw wattle, right?
I saw the straw wattle on the other side of the silt fence, but the silt fence itself has to be dug in. So they're going to be like putting a trench through the wetland. So I would say if they're going to be using a silt fence because they're going to be disturbing a lot of soil when they're constructing, I would recommend that's done in an upland area in the buffer zone. But when they're working on the wetland itself, they should use some control that's less disturbing, which is like just a mulch sock or a tube. That's just my recommendation. That's what I would see, just to avoid additional disturbance. But does that
Yeah,
make sense? Or
I'm even wondering if instead of redigging the fence,
well, the
leaving,
fence is not dug in right
Yeah,
now. You
it's
just
not
have
showed
stake.
in there
It just
yet.
looks like you just the stakes are pounded in, but the fence is not dug in yet. So
This is true.
maybe before we do that, maybe we could just, where we stake the wetland line, just put the erosion control there with the silt fence. Just bring it up.
So where you're staking the outer limit of where we're gonna be doing the mitigation plantings.
Exactly. That way it's not in the wetlands. Again, currently it is lawn, but
Right.
Okay,
that's it. Those are my 2 cents.
all right.
however the commission sees best, we're willing to work in either direction.
Yeah, well, I think, so we could probably talk about it when we do our pre-construction meeting.
Okay,
I'm not sure why they already put the erosion controls in before getting the approval, but apparently they're gonna have to take them out and start over anyways, so.
yeah,
But we can talk about it on site, what makes sense.
sure. Okay,
Reed,
Okay.
Reed, do you have any comments?
Yeah, on the planting plan. I guess two comments. One, I don't think St. John's wort is native. So that should be not on that list.
okay,
And then you mentioned a few cultivars. I think, it's our preference that you use native non-cultivars, rather than. Does that make sense?
yep,
Yeah.
okay, we can adjust that.
All right.
Some ferns might do good in that area.
Mm-hmm. I believe we did have some ferns, if I
Did you?
remember.
Yeah.
If not, we can adjust the St. John's with the ferns.
Yeah, or we have, if you look at our tree policy, right, we have in there some other native shrubs that, it specifically lists the ones that are good for wet areas, so.
Okay, great. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. I don't have any comments at this point. Clay, do we have Any, buddy in the audience?
We do. We have 3 hands raised. I'll move them over one at a time in order that they raise their hands. The first person is listed as Burns. I'll move them over.
Hi, you're on mute.
Is that working?
Yeah, hi, welcome.
Okay,
Say-
my name is Peter Burns. I abut 19 Mason. My question is, the mitigation area is filled with creeping buttercup. Is there a plan to remediate that?
Currently, we do not have a plan for that.
Can one be included?
Are you proposing to put in any seed mixes in there, Diane?
We had not.
Maybe you could add like a
Good.
native seed mix in there.
We could do that. And that would be within the wetland, within the locus area, obviously.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll have them propose a seed mix to put in there. And hopefully that will help
Eliminate.
alleviate some of the invasives in there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's next, Clay?
All right. I'm going to move over the next hand. It's listed as Crayons.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, welcome.
Hi, I'm Brenda Kern. I live on Fullabrook Avenue across from the Burns. Behind this property is actually Fuller Brook. And right now, Fuller Brook is completely dry, right? But we know when it's wet, it rises. And I just wondered if you could consider putting more of the plantings to the whole length of the property to help with, because my understanding is when Fuller Brook is fully wet, it does flood that area. And I'm worried about the impact, to Fuller Brook, because I've had my basement flooded in the past. I have controls in my basement now to solve that. But I think we just need to consider the brook itself and how it ebbs and flows, and the impact of the construction and the change in maybe the water table with the increased size of the home.
Sure. So the resource area that we're revegetating should help alleviate some of the water concerns, because the vegetation does use or absorbs a lot of that and also helps in the ebb and flow, as you say. Additionally, the recharge systems that we have for the downspouts will also allow the instead of a sheet flow, which you currently have, it will recharge that into the groundwater, which hopefully again will help with that flow of the high impact. It won't be a direct discharge. It will be redirected into the groundwater, which hopefully will help with the flow of water. So with the project, we do have some proposed mitigation for your concerns. to hopefully help in those situations, in the high water flow times.
And that portion of the brook is not considered perennial.
Hmm.
It's not riverfront area.
What does
Yeah.
that mean?
That portion of the stream does dry up. It doesn't run all year. So it doesn't have an extra designation, that's, called a 200-foot riverfront area. So, so the only resource area that they have is, an intermittent stream and the wetlands that are associated with it.
Okay. And what do the infiltration systems on the plan, what do those do?
They actually accept the runoff from the house itself, and it disperses them underground, so it doesn't sheet flow directly to the wetland, and it actually helps with flooding. That's the intent.
Okay.
Reducing flooding, I should say.
All right, thanks for your comment. We have one final member of the public.
Yep, the last hand is listed as Mark Blusing. I'll move him over just a moment.
Hi, I live at 48 McIntosh Avenue, so I'm not a direct abutter, but I'm in the neighborhood. I just had a couple of questions. One aspect of building in this neighborhood that not everybody considers is that the whole area has a very high water table. I have a sump system with a French drain that runs probably 6 months a year. And I know that the water table is very high. Peter Burns spoke earlier. He doesn't even have a full basement. He has a crawl space on that house because the water table is high in that area. So my two questions are the depth of the basement in this. Is it going to be what a typical new construction house is, which is 9 feet? Then maybe, I don't know if Diane even knows that, but that's the first question. And if they install a sump pump system, what is the outlet for that? They aren't, I don't expect them typically to add that to the mitigation system that is catching all the roof runoff, but that, becomes the extra surface flow that Brenda Curran was mentioning. And so I'm wondering if you know enough yet about how that was. I did see on the plan that there were some excavations to check for the water table depth. One was behind the garage,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was about 6 feet deep, or a little over 6 feet to hit the water table. And if you go back further to the new footprint, that's going to be even closer because that's one of the high points of the lot. So I'm wondering sort of the depth that they're going to dig, and I'm concerned that they're going to go into that water table. There'll be a sump system that's dumping water that we haven't considered. And we just wanted to know if you knew any sort of mitigation for that aspect.
That, as far as an 8 or 9 foot pour, I'm not certain at this particular time, but I do believe that, I mean, obviously, if necessary, we would do a sub pump, and how that would be discharged at this particular time, I am uncertain. I don't know.
Well, I saw that the town engineer is on as well. Do they still allow these sump system like that to be tied into the storm drainage piping?
Tom probably could.
Sorry, I was in the middle of eating. So what I'm hearing is that, what is this, a sump pump?
Yes.
Yes, we do have a small diameter drain program. That remains to be seen how, what the future is as far as we're looking at the stormwater bylaw. What the requirements are going to be in the future, but right now It is for existing houses that have, that are in the water table. They can pump into our drain. It requires a permit, and we're requiring some sort of mitigation, some infiltration prior to discharge into the town's drainage system.
So for new builds,
But new builds, well, we haven't explored that yet, but it remains open right now. But my preference is that we don't, we find a way to, just do existing, right now, but right now it's open for all construction right now.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
thanks, Mark. All right, if there's no more comments. Oh, we got one comment from Felina.
Sorry, I just had a quick question to Deb. You are going to, for your order of conditions, you'll be requiring them to submit a planting plan that you will be approving, is that correct?
I can have them add the plants to it. So they had, was it 6 plants that you were putting in?
You mean 6 different types of plants?
Yeah, it just said something, when your plants were up, I thought it said 6, 3.
Yeah, we have
each.
6 plants from the hardscape, and then we also have grasses as well. So there's a variety of things that we have.
Okay, so
Okay,
Paul, you want to see that added to the plan?
Yeah, if it could be added to the plan, whether for our next meeting or as part of the conditions for you to review it and approve it before they install anything, just to make sure there are no cultivars, all the plants are correct and the spacing is correct.
Yep, we can put a plan together and make modifications to the plantings.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to go over them at all, Diane, let me know.
Okay, we can do that as a condition. That would be great.
Sue, I see you have your
Hi.
hand.
Tom's probably left, but Dave, you might know the answer to this question. Tom was mentioning, in avoiding connection to the storm sewer system, if there could be a mitigation plan. So I was just wondering what kind of mitigation plan would take the place of being connected to the storm sewer system.
Well, it sounded like they need to try to at least do some infiltration on the property.
Right.
So it sounds like that is the mitigation.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was looking
Oh,
for.
sorry, Tom.
Yeah. So, yeah, I am here and I only caught a portion of the conversation from the beginning, which I heard sump pump, so it kind of perked my ears up. Yeah, so if they can have some infiltration prior to discharge into the drainage system on their property, and then have like overflow into the drainage system, so it's not always pumping into the system. So hopefully there's some capacity on the infiltration, and they can talk to the engineering office, when they go for the street permit and the drain permit, on the sizes and the thoughts on it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Sue. All right, so again, we will have to continue this hearing to our next meeting, and we can review the order of conditions at that time, and we can also vote on the waivers. So can I have a motion to continue this hearing for 17 Mason Road, DEP file 234-938 to December 5th, 2024?
Can I ask one question prior to
We
that
have,
vote? Just wondering if we could do the staking for the wetland area where that will be planted and allow him to fix the erosion control up and around that area. Would that be something?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
I know, I
It's okay.
definitely want the staking done, and since he already put the erosion controls in, I don't see, why he can't fix them.
Okay.
All right, so the motion, can somebody make a motion to continue this?
Motion to
meeting?
continue.
A second.
All right, let's vote here. Sue,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Paulina,
Aye.
Clary,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, thanks, Diane.
Thank you for your time this evening.
All right, next item on the agenda is DPW project, repair maintenance activity on Pheasant Landing Road. We have Tom or Justin.
Yes. Good evening. Yeah, I'm with Justin right now. This is a project that will be working in the roadway. It's adjacent to a wetland, existing road. Pretty much it's like going to be a root canal type of style where the road is collapsed a bit because there's a corrugated metal pipe that runs under the road on Pheasant Landing. Has deteriorated and has collapsed a little bit. So our procedure is we're going to sleeve 2 new pipes through the existing culvert, dig the road and regrade with flowable fill, and then repave. This is all outside the wetland. It's no traction in the wetland. It's just it fits within our general permit notifications that we're going to be doing. The expected work is when our person from the water division is on vacation right now, but he'll be back in a couple of weeks, so be probably right after Thanksgiving.
Did you have any pictures you wanted to share?
I do. I thought I was hoping that you had them ready.
Did you email them to me?
You know what? I emailed them to you, but I forgot to give you a hard copy, and I apologize for that.
I know. No, I didn't know if Clay if he was on the email.
If you give me
Is the commission, are you interested in looking at pictures, or do you want to?
let me got it. Okay,
You got it?
I got it. So
Yeah, the pictures were in the packet, right? Or in the application.
yeah. Bear with me a second, please. Thank you.
Are you in the Charles River room?
No, I just got back to my office.
Oh, okay.
All
It's
right.
good to know I'm not in the building alone.
Can you see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the outlet. Here's the culvert right here. One of the photos is looking at it from this is the the upstream side. And then I have another photo looking at it down gradient. So that's in the next. All right, let me turn the page. Yeah, there we go. That's looking from the upstream side. So elliptical corrugated metal pipe. Seen better days. It's really not that old, but I mean 1988, I think, early 80s. Here is a picture looking down the road, but you can see the granite, how it's kind of sloped on this side, and it's a little, and we have some barrels over here because you can see the road, the sidewalk dip where the collapse occurred. So they'll be opening up this area here. They're going to feed the pipe halfway through this way, halfway through the other way, connected in the middle, and then flowable fill in through the middle here. like a little root canal and then pave on top, so. Okay, yeah, you can see the dip. Right now, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks straightforward. Any of the commissioners have a question or comment?
I may
No.
have missed it. Are we gonna keep the two corrugated pipes the same footprint, right? And you're just replacing what's existing? And putting sort of like a sleeve type of culvert, removing and just sliding the other one in? Is that
Yes,
what you're thinking, Tom? Okay.
yes, and then where the collapsed pipe is, we will be, I mean, obviously we have to, when we dig, we'll be removing the collapsed piece so the sleeve can fit through. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So it seems like that's all within the existing footprint. I don't have any other questions. I'm just wondering, if this was determined to be an intermittent or if this is just stormwater, conducting stormwater from one side to the other side. There's no intermittent stream there, correct?
No, there's not. It's channelized on the other side. I mean, there was absolutely no water
Okay.
there, but you can tell on the upstream side it floods a bit. I talked to some of the neighbors. They don't experience any flooding. They've seen flooding in the past during some of the heavy rain events, but they said nothing has been close to their house. There is on the other side, it is channelized as if somebody like made sure, like a man-made trench, that when the water flows through the pipe, that it carries away from the street. Yeah, so I actually don't have a photo of that area. I apologize, but it's more it's steeper, where
And-
the
and
upstream side is like flat. Yeah.
And you think that replacing in kind conforms to the 100-year storm, the 500-year storm, the way it exists today?
Yes, I did run some calcs to be on the safe side too. So at the 100-year storm event, there is a slight rise on the upstream side of a few inches, right at the but it never flows full. So the pipe doesn't flow full, but it'll and that's considering brand new corrugated metal pipe versus PVC. But the existing conditions right now it's probably comparable, even more comparable with the PVC pipe that we'll be going to sleeving it through.
Okay. And then my final question, you have a maintenance plan for all the culverts in the town. So this will continue the same maintenance that you have for all other, on a 1 year or in the spring and fall? How is it currently being done?
So what we'll look at it from place to place as far as we have a current evaluation of all the brooks and culverts going on right now. We have a selected engineering firm, and they're proceeding with giving us suggestions on prioritizing areas that need to be upgraded and repaired. We're looking at some grant funding as well. One of the thoughts are, and working with Deb on this too, is like taking some of the areas in town that are channelized with stone and see if we can restore the wetland, open it up a bit. I think we have some great ideas on that. Funding is going to be a source that we're going to need to find. We're working with Gabby, and she's our sustainability person, new at DPW. And she is finding some funding sources for us. So we're looking around here. I think the idea with, especially with over the last few huge storm events that we had, is like stopping the channelization and restore the wetlands. taking out the old concrete pipe and opening up. I think that is like a new method of thought. Used to be just send it down quicker. Yeah, send some stuff down quicker, but store a lot more stuff as well. So you have, the options of both. And
I
so,
think, wait, Tom, that's kind of where I was going. I think that's the way to go. When you're talking about 100-year and 500-year, there's always a potential for you to build the infrastructure to resist and withstand that and be more resilient. But thank you for answering those questions. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks. So, Deb, we don't need to vote on this, right?
Yeah, we usually just vote to approve the
Okay.
notification form, and then you're the only one that needs to sign the form when you come in.
All right, so can I have a motion to approve the Pheasant Landing Road DPW repair maintenance activity?
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay, so let's vote. Sue,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Paulina,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Larry,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. All right, thanks, Tom and Justin.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the last item, or next to last item, 17 George Agate Road. They were requesting a partial certificate of compliance.
So I went out and saw some issues, and so I talked to the owner, Carl, through several emails, and he's gonna be continuing to the next meeting and hopefully take care of the issues.
Okay, so this is not a hearing, so we don't have to,
No, you don't have to continue it.
okay.
It'll just be on the next agenda.
Polina, you have your hand up?
I do just have a quick question about that partial COC.
Mhm.
Why are they requesting a partial instead of a full?
Because they have the 2-year monitoring.
Oh, they don't want to just complete their monitoring and then,
He's selling it, so
okay.
people that are buying would rather at least have a partial. So that at least everything's signed off on except for the mitigation area.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just feel like people always forget partials, but he's selling it.
Yep.
That was quick.
Yes, it was. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be on the same page for the next meeting.
Okay, great. So the last item, our Wetlands Protection Act regulation update. We got some more comments in from the commission members, Sue and Paulina. And so we can incorporate those comments into the draft. I think we were going to send this to the town council for review, and then we were going to schedule a public hearing to review. But we're going to hold off on going to the town council until, we can incorporate everybody's comments. So hopefully we'll have that done by the next meeting. Is there anything else anybody wants to bring up that's not on the agenda?
You can talk about how you put the bridge in.
Oh yeah, we with the help of Conservation Department, Deb and Elisa, I'm sorry, Elisa got the money, and the Rotary Club got the labor. I was the supervisor, and So we took apart the old bridge and built a new bridge. I have some pictures if you're interested, but
Yeah, share some pictures.
Yeah,
all right.
work.
Now I got to figure out how to share this. Share screen. Here we go. You see my screen, right? All right, do you see a tractor?
Yes.
So one of this guy right here, one of the volunteers from the Rotary Club had a nice little tractor, so that did all the heavy labor.
No, I didn't see that picture. I thought you guys were dragging everything in there.
Is that
yeah.
Bill Paulson there?
Yeah, well, yeah, so this was Pete, and then this was part of the crew. So, you know, this bridge basically had like some steps leading up to it. Then it had like a footing here and on the other end, and it was exactly 16 feet long. And so we doubled up on some 2x8s and that's a finished product.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks pretty and it's pretty sturdy. I walked over it with my dogs now 3 times.
Yeah. So like this is in the northern end of see if I had a little map somewhere. No, I can't.
Oh, where's that one? That one's pretty bad.
What,
Gee.
this one?
No, well, that one too. The two planks there. I think that's in the lower. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's at Rocky Woods, one of the trustees' properties. So I'm a volunteer for the trustees, and we do a lot of work there. So here's what it looked the before picture.
Mm.
Quite the improvement.
Yeah, so there's a couple other projects that we hope to address there at Rich Hill. And we last night at the Community Preservation Committee, our application for improving trail signs around Needham that was granted, or it was deemed eligible. So we can move forward and prepare the second part of the application and fine tune the scope of the work. So that was something that
So many accomplishments.
yeah.
I know, good work.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
this project's going to require a lot of volunteer effort. So I know a lot of you on the commission, plus some residents, the Boy Scouts, the high school. There's a bunch of people who've expressed interest in working on this. So, I mean, my goal would be to get more interest ginned up in town about the trails, because I think they've been neglected the past few years. So I think we're making progress.
Do you have an
Great.
age? Do you have an age restriction for volunteers?
Not really.
I have a group of Girl Scouts that might be interested, but
Oh, yeah,
they're
that'd
elementary school.
That'd be great. That'd be great. You know, one of the things that this sign project requires, just, you know, people getting familiar with various trails around town and making recommendations on where we should put up the signs. Because this is something you can't really subcontract out to a contractor or, you know, some outside entity. It has to be somebody familiar with the trails themselves.
Yeah, wayfinding is also an art. They, you know, trying to figure out where most people will see these signs.
Yeah, well, I think that the main problem that we have is at trail intersections. People get to intersection, they don't know where they are. And so I have a good model, which I'll show you all at some point, that it's modeled after the trustees, where they name various trails at the intersections and at the trailheads. So that's the fundamental approach that we're going to take. A lot of the trails in Needham, they're pretty broad, old roads and whatever, and you don't need a lot of blazes as you're walking down the trail because it's obvious that you're on the trail. But when you get to an intersection or something, especially at the town forest, with all the trails that the bikers have created there, it's really crazy. And there's some new trails that we might need to create too. Like Deb and I were talking about, there's at the top of Ridge Hill, at the north end, there's a piece of land that's going to come into conservation. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be Needham. It's going to be Wellesley, but it's still going to be part of conservation. And really it ties together the east and west part of Ridge Hill at the north end. And, sort of at the middle of it, there's a boardwalk that goes across. So there's a nice loop trail across the boardwalk. But the possibility now exists of creating a loop trail higher up. So like Clary, I know you're familiar with that area where the bridge is. Before you get to the bridge, there's like a trail that goes off to the west.
Yeah.
Well, that could now, once this land gets into the conservation, that trail could be extended all the way over to the other trail that goes along the west side of Ridge Hill, which I think would be great.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
And,
markings on the trees need to be planned, Dave. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we're gonna put together a committee and have some discussions and all that. But right now, the effort is just try to get the funding. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right.
Very
then
good.
Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
We didn't vote.